and you are in the place where we go on adventures with women. We're here in Las Vegas, we make watches, we do all sorts of things. So today's live, if you are tuning in, I definitely want you to be a part of this conversation because I am going to be going over all of my favorites in Las Vegas. And it's kind of strange because lately, I mean, through our email, through our contact page, we even had one of our fans and now friends, Paul and his partner, come by and visit us last week, and they are just here to visit Vegas, and people are wanting recommendations. So if you are planning on coming out to Vegas, then this might be a pretty good episode for you because I am a local. I have been living here since 2010, and I married a man who was born and raised here. So when we talk about Vegas, I mean, we have such a love for this city. I've never lived in a place like this, and everybody gets so scared or intimidated by the craziness that is Vegas. And really, from a local's perspective, this place offers so much. So I want you to come to Vegas. I want you to have a good time. I will tell you, there's a few tricks that I have learned just living here. And it took me some time to get used to this city. I'm not gonna lie. It took me like 2 years. And I'll tell you that when I moved here to be with my boyfriend, now husband, he was living at City Center. So right there on the strip at the Veer condos, which is at Aria, Crystal Shopping Center, Cosmopolitan, you know, just that whole area right there. Our view on the 24th floor was the Bellagio Fountains. So it was quite a drinking from a fire hose type of thing. I mean, everybody wants an excuse to come to Vegas, or you already are coming for a trade show, for a bachelor or bachelorette party, for a birthday, some type of celebration, and people just come to this city and they want an excuse to come to this city. So if you're coming to this city and you want to find out some places that the locals hang out and that somebody might want to say, this is a little different than what is the norm, then this is definitely the video for you. Sean and I, we love going to the strip. We're not like those locals, the people that live in Vegas that try to avoid the strip. We live downtown now in the Arts District, so we are all about this city, and we really try to just live it. I mean, it's a great city, so you want to take advantage of what this city has to offer. So that's what I'm going to go over today. And if you have a question about Vegas, pop it in the comments, throw it in the chat. Definitely, if you have a favorite recommendation that I haven't mentioned, please share the wealth. And everything that I'm going over today is in the description, so you can go back and reference, copy and paste, and do your thing. One thing I forgot to write down on my notes here is if you are local, there is about, I would say, 6 or 7 places on the strip that you can park for free with a Nevada state license. All the others you gotta pay for. So I will put that description as well in the, that content in the description so that you can have that list for you too. Otherwise, just DM me on social media, I'll give you that information as well. Couple things before I get into these recommendations. First thing, drink water. We are in a desert. Please drink water. If you are coming out here for a celebration and you're drinking alcohol, by all means, rule of thumb, which has never led me astray, is for every 2 drinks of alcohol, 1 drink of water. So, and I'm talking like a full drink of water. If you do that, you're not gonna be hurting the next day. Second thing, don't take an early morning Monday flight out. Save it to the afternoon. You will regret it. So, speaking of water, can you get me water? I'm cracking myself up. So, just make sure that you have some pre-planning in your trek back to your house. Thank you. There's my water. I always keep it with me. Can you tell I'm excited about this city? So, Blake, oh, thanks for tuning in. You're coming in from Munich. I love it. When you come out to Vegas, you've got to let me know. All right, death defeated. So, third thing is you cannot hail a taxi. So if you're on the Strip, if you are anywhere in the city, this is not New York City. You can't wave a taxi down. You have got to go and to a taxi line or call a taxi service, call an Uber or a Lyft. I will tell you though, Ubers and Lyfts are usually more expensive than taxis. So you might want to just stick with the taxis, but you can't hail them. If you're waving at somebody trying to hail a taxi on the Strip, you're just going to be there making your arm tired. So go to a taxi line, grab a taxi there, and then just have them take you to where you need to go. There's so much. The other thing, if you are into, and I'm going to say this, and people are going to probably, I don't know. I'm just going to say it. It's a thing here. There's no preconceived notions about it. So strip clubs. If you're going to go to a strip club, do not pay for a taxi to go to a strip club. The strip clubs all hire the taxis to bring them to you. So typically, if you're in a taxi line and you want to end the night at a strip club, then if you go up to a taxi and say, I want to go to Hustler, Crazy Horse 3, Little Darlings, whatever the one is that you want to go to, and they try to charge you, do not get into that taxi. They should say, okay, fine, get in, because the strip clubs pay the taxis to bring you there. So you can definitely tip, and I encourage tipping, but you don't have to pay. So there is that. All right, let's jump into it. First thing, I'm starting with food. Why do I live in this city? I love food. So breakfast, and the way I'm gonna break this down is I'm going to go with a place on the Strip, a place in downtown, and then a place somewhere else in the city. I've kind of got my 3 buckets. So if you want to stick to the Strip, I'll always start with the Strip recommendation. If you want to go downtown to the Arts District, Fremont area, I'll give you another place there. And if you want to completely go outside, then I'll give you another place. All right, sounds good. Let's see, you lived and worked there 20 years ago for a short time, and your wife has never been? What? Okay, well, this is a video for you, Scott. So, all right, let's get into it. For breakfast on the Strip, Mon Ami Gabi at Paris. It is the best breakfast. It's a French bakery, coffee, wonderful breakfast. You can sit right on the Strip, you can people watch. It's just a wonderful time. Mon Ami Gabi for sure. If you're downtown, you want to go to eat. That's all it's called. It's only open for breakfast and lunch. It's owned by a woman named Natalie. She's got her own hologram at the Neon Museum. She's one of the icons of this city. And eat is by far, the huevos mutalenos is my favorite breakfast in this city. So it's like mole, egg, there's avocado involved, there's black beans, there's bananas. It's just a mess of amazing. And so I recommend the huevos mutalenos at Eat in downtown. If you're somewhere around the city, then Gabi Coffee and Bakery. Gabi Coffee and Bakery is, I want to say it's on either Spring Mountain or Sahara. It's a little bit in the west area of town, and it is just beautiful. It's kind of this hidden gem in a mini mall. You have no windows, the doors look like it's going into a vault, and then when you walk in, it's a whole other world. So I highly recommend that place. I suggest you fly in at night so that you can see Vegas from the night. Absolutely, when it's all pitch black in the entire city, yes. And Scott, that's actually gonna be on my recommendations for things to do. But we're starting off with food now because food's my fave. Coffee shop, Bungalow Cafe. Bungalow Coffee Shop in downtown, right on Charleston. It's got phenomenal coffee. Mothership is another great coffee spot. And then Makers and Finders has a phenomenal green tea latte. So those are all downtown. Lunch on the Strip, Hex. I was confused. I just was there a couple weeks ago. I can't remember if it's in front of Planet Hollywood or Paris. I think it's Planet Hollywood. You can enter in from the Strip, but it has phenomenal breakfast. Great, great, great brunch. They always have something going on. If there's a DJ, if there's a sports game, if there's something, Hex is the place to go for lunch on the Strip. Downtown, Tacotarian. It's vegan, it's Mexican, wonderful horchata, and you do not even need to be like vegan or anything like that. This place has a quesadilla that will destroy you. It is the best quesadilla I think I've ever had in my life. And my friend Brian and his girlfriend came out to visit. They are vegan. We took them there. It was the first time that we got the quesadilla, and it's kind of one of those things where you remember the first time you had this quesadilla because it just sits with you because it's so surprising how delicious it is. I don't even get anything added to it. I just have the stuff that it comes with, the little sides, and then cheese and tortilla. I swear to goodness, it's the best thing I've ever eaten. In the city, for lunch, Chinatown. Just go down Spring Mountain. There are so many places. If you walk in, all these little like sushi restaurants, Chinese restaurants, they don't speak English. You're going in there and they will ask you, do you want a menu in English or Chinese? And you will have one of the best surprising meals that you've ever had. So I highly, highly recommend just cruise down Chinatown, down Spring Mountain, any of those places on the left or the right, you're gonna find a gem. And then afterwards, get a massage. The massages here, it's like, I think it's like $1 a minute or 50 cents a minute for 30 minutes or an hour. You're spending less than $100 and you are getting one of those full blown, just like you would get if you went to Asia, a small girl walking on your back. You get the full body massage, you get stripped down naked, and you get your own private room, and they will take care of all of the soreness in your shoulders. It's amazing. So that's probably the best lunch that I could recommend, is going and finding some hidden spot in Chinatown on Spring Mountain and then going in and getting a massage. And most of the places you walk in, like this is not something that you need to have a reservation for. Just go. Dinner, strip, I would say Giada. So Giada is right at the corner where is it, on Flamingo. It has a beautiful bay view of the corner of the strip right there on Flamingo. So it's just absolutely stunning. It's Italian food. Oddly enough, and this is a big surprise when I tell people this, if you want a good steak, go to Circus Circus. The steakhouse at Circus Circus is 20 plus years running best steakhouse in Las Vegas. Who would have thunk it? Circus Circus is not my recommendation to ever spend any time in unless you have children. It is an amusement park inside. So don't go there to just hang out if you don't have kids. If you have kids, it's great. But I go to walk through the hotel only and go to the steakhouse, especially if somebody is looking for a good steak in Vegas. Yes, that's the place to go. Yes, you can go to Smith & Wollensky's. You can go to some of those steakhouses that are well known all over the world. But if you want a tried and true Vegas staple, then the steakhouse at Circus Circus, oddly enough. Downtown Las Vegas, Carson Kitchen. It's the place I go to when people come into town and I want to impress them. I take them there. It's a local joint. It's small. It's intimate. They also have a phenomenal espresso New York steak. I love their Brussels sprout Caesar salad. It's just good all-American food. They have a phenomenal wine list. They've got a phenomenal just everything. That would be my number one. And then in the city, off strip and outside of downtown Vegas, would be Tres Cazuelas. Tres Cazuelas was voted the #1 hidden gem. I think this was a couple years back. The owner, Angelo, is one of my favorite people in Las Vegas. He is his own personality. He will sit down with you when you are having dinner and he will see what you're eating and pour you a glass of wine and say, that goes really well with this. And just see who you are, meet you, want to hang out with you. He will keep his distance if you don't want to be bothered, of course, but there's usually live music. They have a great brunch with flamenco dancers over the weekends, and it's this Latin fusion. Angelo is a sommelier, so it is one of the best lunch dinner places. I go there probably once a week. I'm gonna be straight up. I love that place. So Tres Cazuelas. It is on Polaris and Spring Mountain, so right as you enter into Chinatown, that's your spot. Then in Summerlin, if you're going out kind of towards the west, Summerlin is a very fancy part of Las Vegas. It's one of the newest parts of Las Vegas. and Nataya's Secret Kitchen, which is Thai, highly recommended to me. I will be honest, I haven't been there, but I have been recommended, so I need to go there, and I love Thai food. And I can't not do a video without having a Thai recommendation. So check out Nataya's Secret Kitchen in Summerlin. Now, drinks. Everybody does do a little bit of a party when they come to Vegas. So if they're here for work or if they're here for play, there's always drinks involved somewhere. If you're gonna be on the Strip, number one place to go to, it's my new favorite spot, it's Delilah's. It's at the Wynn. It opened up, I'd say about a year or so ago, and there's usually live music. It is just the place that you want to hang out at. Somebody is always there. It's kind of the who's who. It's very supper clubbish. And it kind of reminds me of something that you would walk into when you go to like Titanic, like the cruise ship, you know, where you have like the beautiful 40s, the sequin dresses and the gorgeous makeup and hair and all of that. It's definitely a scene. So Delilah's, live music, drinks, there's a little bit of an upstairs and a downstairs. It's my default now. I love going to Delilah's. Chandelier Bar at Cosmo would be my second place. That's way more open, people watching. It spans 3 levels, so you can sit on any of the 3 floors right in the center of the Cosmo, and you can see the casino level and everybody playing. You can see the people walking over to the nightclubs at Marquee. You can see them going to all the restaurants on the 3rd floor. Whichever floor you want to sit on, the whole place is surrounded by chandeliers. They have one drink that will make your mouth go completely numb. There's a flower in it. I forget what it's called, but you can get the numbing drink. They also have a Cinnamon Toast Crunch Martini, which tastes just like your childhood. So, I mean, you can have a really, really nice drink and people watching at Chandelier Bar. Here's a pro tip. If you want to go to the top of the Stratosphere, but you don't want to pay that ticket price to go up to the observation deck, just go to the bottom of the Stratosphere where the elevators are and say, I'm just going up to the bar to have a drink. They have a top of the world bar where you can just go up, take the elevators up, and go and have a drink. It rotates, so you see the entire city of Las Vegas. So going at sunset, there's small tapas, there's libations, and just grab a drink right at their bar. And you don't have to pay the observation deck ticket. So that's one pro tip that will get you to the top of the Stratosphere to just hang out. They do have top of the world restaurant there, which is very, very nice. A bit pricey, but I usually just go for tapas and drinks with friends at the bar there, and it's ideal. It's really beautiful. Another place that is a really, really interesting place to go for drinks only is, you know, the Link. They have the Ferris Wheel, and it's those big balls. Why am I blanking on what it's called? Do you know what it's called? Is it called the Ferris Wheel? Okay, so it's called the Ferris Wheel. But if you go into one of those balls, the Ferris Wheel is set up with like pods, and each pod can hold, I think, approximately 30 people. Some of those pods have a bartender and a bar in it. So I want to say it takes like 15 to 20 to 30 minutes to go all the way around and do one full rotation. So you can kind of hang out, have a drink right there in the Ferris wheel pod, and bring all your friends. You can even rent them out privately. So that's another pro tip that is an unusual place to have a drink if you want. Now going downtown Las Vegas. Hands down, favorite place to have a drink is Park on Fremont, in the backyard. Not in the bar up at the front, go to the backyard. And if you go to the backyard, behind the Ferris wheel, behind the fireplace in the backyard, it's set up like an Alice in Wonderland British garden. There's a fireplace that you can sit at, and if you go right behind, it doesn't even look like you can go behind it. You really have to go out to the corner, and there's only one corner that you can go to with probably an opening about this wide, so you've got to squeeze. You can go to the very, very back secret seesaw area and have a drink there. So I send people on scavenger hunts all the time, and I say, if you're going downtown, go find the seesaw. That's at Park on Fremont. They have the best, beautiful backyard. It's full of trees. It doesn't look like you're in Las Vegas, and it's right there at the edge on Fremont, right next to all the crazy where the people are ziplining. So that's my number one place to just honestly, just have an iced tea and sit under the beautiful, trees and those Alice in Wonderland chairs right by the fireplace. If there's a chill in the air, it's just stunning. Now, if you want to go to some place that's kind of interesting, the Griffin is set up almost like an old prison, like the Tower of London, and that is about 2 doors down from Park on Fremont still, and you can go in there and have a cocktail. It's very dark, it's very dingy, it's really, really unique. There's usually some really interesting music playing as well, so I do recommend that place. If you want something that's a little bit more speakeasy-ish, then Commonwealth and the laundry room. That place you do have to usually book out about a week or 2 ahead of time. It gets booked up, so it's not very speakeasy-ish because everybody knows about it, but it definitely is a unique experience. So all you got to do is just text the number to the laundry room. You can find it online and see when their reservations are, and then they will come into the Commonwealth typically, and they will, because the laundry room is like a hidden room in the Commonwealth, they'll come out, they'll get you, you have to describe what you're wearing, what you're drinking, you have to be done with your drink, and then when they take you back to the speakeasy, you can't do video, you can't do photos, you can't even have your phone with you. So, and you have to keep your voices down, and all the drinks are the same price. You just tell the bartender or tell the waiter what you want, and they'll just make it for you. You give them whatever the base is that you want, vodka, gin, bourbon, whatever, and then they'll craft something for you. It's kind of a neat experience. Then if you go over towards Main Street, which is kind of the new up-and-coming arts district area of downtown, Rebar. Rebar does not seem like you're in Vegas. It's kind of like you're in LA or you're in Austin, New York. It's just a very different type of bar than where you think of like Vegas people going. So definitely recommend Rebar. Pools, if you're gonna do the pools. Now, it gets hot in Vegas. Let's be real, right? So if you're gonna go to the pools, please drink a lot of water. Don't get yourself heat stroke and alcohol poisoning. It's not a fun combination. I prefer the pools at night. So night swim at the Wynn is 100% my favorite place to go. You could still get dressed up, you could still be in your bathing suit, or you can get dressed up like a nightclub. So they'll have a DJ, they'll have usually a really, really good DJ. They'll fill up the entire pool with flotation devices, or floatables or inflatables. That's the word I'm thinking of. Unicorns and pizza and donuts and all the things, so you can get into the pool and have a lot of fun. Or you can just dance to the DJ or hang out, get bottle service, whatever you want to do. But night swim, it starts at night, so it's like a nightclub, but it's at the pool at the Wynn, and that is by far my favorite pool. If you are gonna go during the day, Marquee Day Pool was one that I used to go to a lot when I lived at the city center. It was always a solid choice, but honestly, my favorite right now, regardless of the Strip or downtown, is Circa. Circa in downtown Las Vegas, it just opened up within the last 2 years, and they have a phenomenal sports screen, so you can go and watch the games, and then they'll have a DJ going at commercial breaks. If there's not a game going on, it's usually a really, really good DJ, and there's multiple levels. The pools are really fun, and Circa is just a really neat place. Circa is actually my favorite sports bar. So even on the inside of the casino, which it's this massive casino that opened up in Fremont, you have one of the best sports bar. I think it's like 2 or 3 levels, and there's a lot of restaurants that kind of surround it, so you can get food and be watching the game and not miss anything. Honestly, it's pretty cool. So Circa inside for the sports bar, outside for their pool, which is on their top level with all the things, the DJs, the sports, the pool scene. Clubs. So On the Record, Park MGM, there's several rooms. You can have a private karaoke room, you've got a hip hop room, you've got an 80s room. It's just a fun time. I don't even know how to describe it's just fun. People have no pretensions there. It's not, you don't have to be cool. You know what I mean? Like, there's always this kind of scene of like, the who's who or whatever is at Hakkasan or at Marquee or whatever. I mean, those are great, but if I just want to dance like nobody's watching me, I'm going to On the Record. That's definitely the place that I would go. Now, if I want club music, EDM music, house, that type of thing, I'm going to Omnia. Omnia is one of my favorites because of the outdoor. It's set up on this high level. You can see the entire strip, and it's just a beautiful night, airiness. There's nothing stuffy about it. You feel so open. You got the entire strip in front of you. So those would be my two places. Now, I will say, I'm going to try out Elia Beach Club at Virgin. Virgin just opened up. They just took over the Hard Rock Cafe, and they're apparently Troy Boy, who is one of my favorite DJs, he has residency. I just found this out yesterday. So I will give you a pilot's report on how Elia is at Virgin, but I haven't been there yet. But I do remember, what was the Rehab? Rehab was the pool that used to be at the Hard Rock. It was all over MTV and all over the reality TV shows. It was a craziness mess. Like, people were watching the drama unfold at Rehab, and it was very much like that. So this is in the same place, but now that Virgin took over Hard Rock, it's now Elia and Elia Beach Club. We'll see how it goes. But for the places I've been to, on the record at Park MGM and Omnia would be my two favorite clubs. If you're staying here and you don't want to stay at a casino that smells like smoke, has people running all over the place, ching, 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 go to Vidara. Vidara does not have casinos or smoking allowed in its hotel. If you want a really nice spa experience, Vidara is your place. It's at City Center. It's right in between Aria and Cosmopolitan. And Vidara is set back just a little bit off the strip. It's beautiful. It still smells amazing, and it's been open over a decade. So that place is the most serene place in the middle of the strip. I highly recommend Vidara. Then we're on to things to do. Am I talking too fast here? I've got so many things that I've been going through. Thank God it's all listed down in the description, so by all means, you've got it there. But things to do, go to a Knights game, go to a Raiders game. They are a blast. It's the best show in the city. Go to a show though. Some of my favorite shows, Absinthe is one of my favorite shows at Caesars. There's a whole ton of shows that you could go to. If you're downtown, go to the Container Park. The Container Park is 3 levels of containers from shipping containers, and they've built out bars and restaurants, and there's a whole playground area in the middle for kids. Now, after 10 p.m., they kick anybody out that's not 21, and then all the adults play in the playground. So yes, you can go down the slide, and you can have a great time and have a beer in hand. The Wise Guys Comedy Club down on Main Street, that just opened up. There's Area 15. Area 15 is on a whole other level. It's in between the strip and downtown. It's this huge complex that is like an art installation, experiential place. You can go, you can shop, you can see the exhibits. Oftentimes it's free to enter. They host a lot of events there. Right now, Meow Wolf is there. There's some really, really interesting, immersive things that you can do. And you can have a cocktail there. There's a bar right in the center. I haven't eaten there, so I'm not sure if there is food there. But there is food there. Awesome, there's food there. I got the nods from behind the scene. So yes, you can check that out too. Area 15 is like one of the top places, I would say. If you're coming to Vegas, you gotta go check that place out. Wednesday night, these are a couple things that happen every week or every month. So on Wednesday nights, I'm a big bicycle rider. On Wednesday night, they meet down at Charleston and 3rd, I believe. And what they'll do is they have about, I would say 100 to 200 bicycles doing a bike ride. They're all lit up like Christmas trees. There's music playing, and it's just this huge bike ride that goes all around downtown Las Vegas. Happens every Wednesday night, typically right around 7 or 8 p.m. is where everybody meets. And then on Fridays, the First Friday we do a big First Friday event where a lot of local artists, a lot of local businesses will come out, and that is downtown as well. Also check out Ferguson's over on Fremont. So Ferguson's, they're kind of getting back into having their regular events. But again, a lot of local artists, a lot of local artisans that are making soaps and oils and perfumes and necklaces and different things like that. There's always something going on either at Ferguson's or on First Friday. Those things are downtown. If you want to get out of town, Lake Las Vegas. Lake Las Vegas is stunning. It's this quaint little town, cobblestone walkways. Everybody forgets about Lake Las Vegas, but it is beautiful. It's serene. They do neon kayaking in the summertime where they'll give you a plastic clear kayak and you can go out into the lake and it's just lit up with all these neon lights and everybody goes and does neon kayaking at night. Super fun. I think there's a DJ that floats out as well, and so you all are like DJing or dancing in your kayak. There's also pet yoga that happens on the middle of the lake out there. So if you have your dog or you're bringing your pet and you want to go and hang out with your dog at the lake in Lake Las Vegas, at the amphitheater that overlooks the lake, it's just a beautiful time. So Lake Las Vegas, or take it a step further and go out to Lake Mead, rent a houseboat or a speedboat or do any one of those things. Lake Mead has fingers for days. When I say fingers, it means these little alcoves that you can go disappear in and just have a day out on the lake. It's a ton of fun. And you can even see the Hoover Dam from the water. You can't go all the way up to the dam. They have it all blocked off, but you've got it right there. I think we did a scuba diving video at Lake Mead and we went over towards the Hoover Dam. So I think you might be able to see that when I did my first dive. It's here on the YouTube channel. I'll check it out, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. Helicopter tours. Now, this is to Scott's point, doing it at night. If you are going to do a helicopter tour, I highly recommend either sunset or nighttime. Or if you're arriving in, then arrive in the evening. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. You will not, seeing Vegas at night when it's all lit up is, it's a postcard. You're just looking at a postcard. It's gorgeous. If you want to do something aviation related, but not necessarily take a helicopter tour, because maybe it's too short, go down to Henderson and do dogfighting with Sky Combat Ace. And I should say, they just moved to North Las Vegas. So don't go down to Henderson, go to North Las Vegas and check out Sky Combat Ace. You can get in an extra, which is a fully aerobatic airplane, and you and your friends can go and do dogfighting where you're hitting smoke and all sorts of stuff. It is a blast. So I recommend that. If you're in North Las Vegas, then go race cars at the Speedway. This stuff is inexpensive in Vegas. Like, this is not something that it's like, oh, you know, I have to like save up for this massive, because we do it all the time. They will come and pick you up at your hotel and they will take you to the Speedway. They'll take you to North Las Vegas. They'll take you out to the Grand Canyon. They will take you wherever their business is. So if you want to do something outside of the Strip, outside of the city, then just call them up and say, hey, do you guys have a pickup service available? And they'll probably say, yeah, we do. So check that out. If you are into nature, and I wanted to save kind of the best for the last, Mount Charleston, Red Rock Canyon, Valley of Fire, Hoover Dam, those are my favorite places on the outside of Vegas, and they are beautiful. Even if you just pay that entry into the national park at Red Rock Canyon, and you just do the drive, that drive is probably about 15 minutes, and it is so serene. There's places to pull over, take photographs, tons of hiking available, and keep in mind, Vegas sits in a valley. So in the summertime, when it's 90 degrees, 100 degrees here in the city, if you go out to those mountains, it's typically right around 85. It's perfect. Hiking up Mary Jane Falls over at Charleston, it's just absolutely stunning. And this right now is the best time to do it because it hits around 70 degrees in the springtime up there. It's just, it takes probably about 45 minutes to hike up because it's all switchbacks, but you are getting the waterfall. So maybe in August or late summer, you're not gonna get as much waterfall as you would in the springtime, but it's just beautiful. So, you've probably seen some photos. I think we did a YouTube video where I hike with Stacy Dugan, who's a vegan chef, a good friend of mine, and we went up to Mary Jane Falls and then we went and just kind of hung out in nature. So those are my top. I think I went through about 30 different things from the Strip to downtown to off Strip. If you guys like this video or you have any other recommendations, please put them in the comments below. Teach me about my city, because I love this city. I love touring. I love taking people out and my recommendations. And this is like just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many more places that you can go check out and see. So if you do like this and you want to see more, then by all means, click the subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video.